Hi everyone, Natalie here. Welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, welcome back. I am a first year nursing student working towards my ADN in Nevada. And today I kind of want to talk about going back to school and what it kind of means for me being in my 30s and having been in and out of school since I left high school. So first things first, I have been working in the field as a paramedic for a little under 9 years, and I left that job to work as an MA so that I could focus on getting into nursing school and whatnot. So I've done medicine for quite a while, so I'm very versed in a lot of like emergency medicine and stuff like that, which I think is very helpful when it comes to going to nursing school. But I noticed that I am not, I'm about at the same level. No, I wouldn't put myself off of my peers. I think we're all pretty close to the same when it comes to studying, because you're given the information and you either pick it up or you don't, and we work really hard together. So yes, I have a little bit of an advantage, but to be honest, it depends on what kind of student you are. And the group I study with are top-notch students. So we work really, really hard together, and it just kind of puts us on even footing. A little bit about getting into school. I spent the better half of last year studying for the ATI entrance exam, and I took it twice in January. I scheduled it twice right off the bat just because I knew I wanted to take it twice. And I'm glad that I did, because I did a whole lot better the second time than I did the first, because I had seen all of the information and was really ready for it that time. And with those scores, I got into nursing school, and it was my program of choice. I really wanted to go to this program. It's pretty highly talked about in the community. A lot of the nurses that I've ever met have gone through this program, so I knew that I wanted to go there. So I was really happy to be accepted. I am in the night cohort, so I take my classes in the afternoons. And right now we're at twice a week. Next term will be 3 times a week, and then the term following that will be 4 to 5 times a week. So it's a little crazy. My program does do the prerequisites. I got a lot of them done prior to going into this program, so I only had to take a couple of gen ed classes, like a math class and a communications class, and then I'm taking what is it? We've got chemistry, anatomy, and microbiology. Those are the core classes for the gen eds that are prior to nursing school. So that's what I'm working on now, is those ones. And after next term, we will be starting in with all of the nursing classes, and I cannot wait. I am so excited. But right now I'm just focusing on getting through and getting things done. We have about 4 weeks until the end of this term, and I have been hunkering down and studying so that I am ready to take this final when it comes. These finals. There's more than one. I don't know how I'm going to do with the 2 finals being right next to each other, back to back, but I think it'll be okay. I think we're going to be okay. Starting nursing school, prior to starting nursing school, I had taken a lot of those gen ed classes, and I was trying to figure out how I was as a student, how I learn as a student. So I wanted to try new things. I wanted to try new study habits and whatnot. And I ended up trying to go entirely digital, which I didn't end up being successful at these classes prior to nursing school. And so when I started nursing school, I tried again and I threw myself into completely digital, no pen and paper, no hard copy books, none of that. I threw myself in and I found that it was incredibly difficult. So I transitioned back into like a half and half digital, non-digital. And now I'm transitioning back into digital, but not the same way as I did before. And so far, I'm finding that is working for me pretty well. I use Notability and GoodNotes. I don't use GoodNotes as much as I use Notability. I like the fact that Notability has a voice record so that you can record your lectures and you're able to basically tap on the highlighting anywhere in the thing and it'll go to that portion of the lecture where you were recording from that point on and listen to specific parts of the lecture, which has come in such incredibly handy during study sessions for exams and quizzes. So I use that a lot, and I'm still trying to stay digital. Though when I feel that I can't, I do use pen and paper and do things kind of the old-fashioned way. Just because it's still ingrained in me and how I learn and whatnot. Next I have on my list is the grading system. The grading system for nursing school is absolutely nothing like the grading system for a community college or something like that. I could get a 70% and pass class and get all the credits if I did that at the community college. And this one, you have to have a 75%. You cannot miss any assignments. So even if they're late, you get a 0 on the assignment, but it still has to be done. And anything below a 75 is considered failing. So if you don't pass the class with that, you have failed the course, which you can only have 3 fails throughout the program. And if you fail, you have to do that class again if there's room for you in the next class. If you miss more than one class or fail more than one class, you have to repeat the term over. So it really depends. You have to be very careful on how you go about things because it could make life very, very complicated. So I've never seen a grading scale like this before. 75, I think, is pretty lenient. I think that it's good for what it is because I know that there are some nursing schools out there that are like 80% is failing. So I consider myself lucky in the fact that we have 75. And I think it kind of makes you just a little bit more competitive. Just a little bit. The exams are completely different than anything I've ever done before. I'm very, very used to multiple choice questions and stuff like that. So when we had ours where our first exam, it showed up as fill in the blanks almost entirely. This came off the bottom of my desk. And I'm not really sure what to do with it because it's not anything that keeps the structure of my desk. Just set that there and pretend that we don't see it. I like that. So, it was very surprising to have a lot of explain this, describe that questions, and only having like a small scattering of multiple choice questions. There's definitely quite a few in the science classes that are select all that apply, which I think is probably good practice for what's to come in nursing school. I've heard that select all that apply questions are very, very common. So we're getting practice there. But the one thing about these exams is when you fill in and you have to describe things, you have to know the material. Otherwise, you can't describe something that you know nothing about. And you can't guess at it because it's not multiple choice. So the exams are very high level of difficulty, in my opinion. And the last couple of exams that I've had in one of my classes has been incredibly hard. They've been incredibly hard exams. And I'm not going to say I'm living for it because holy cow, like the stress level is high with this one. But we're getting through. So the exams are different. The exams are harder. And you just can't skate through the way that you can with some other classes. I'm not saying they're all like that. There's a lot of really, really hard classes at community colleges and regular colleges and stuff. But I'm just saying from my experience, this is the hardest I've ever had to work for a grade. And that's personal. But I've never taken anything like engineering or anything like that before. So I really don't have very much to compare it to. One thing that has gotten me through this whole time is that I have an excellent study group. And that would be my advice to you, is that you should find a group of like-minded people that are going to keep you on task to study with and study with them weekly. Make the time to spend time with your study group, going over the concepts and going over information in the material. Make time to have a study group and find a study group that stays on task. That is the biggest thing, is finding a study group that stays on task. You're there for a specific reason. Go there and study. Don't just use it as social hour. If you want to find friends that you have social hour with, make time for social hour. Like, have that be completely separate. Like, you do a study group and then you go out and get drinks. Whatever the case may be, is something that you should definitely do. You should always have time for yourself, but don't do it during study time, and have a good study group. Doing this by yourself is damn near impossible. It is so hard to go home and stay on task and study. And when you don't have somebody there that's helping you like solidify that information, it can get to be very, very hard. I did first term. I spent a lot of time alone. I didn't go to study groups. I didn't have the time. I didn't make the time. And I regret every second of not going to a study group. So this semester I vowed not to have that problem again. And here I am. We're doing good. We meet every week. Except for this week because it is Christmas vacation and nobody is doing a study group on Christmas vacation. I'm going to be studying, but I won't be with my group. So, and it's good to have a study group because there's like this level of competitiveness, where you're constantly like, I need to know this information. I need to get a really high grade. And that can be healthy. It can be unhealthy. It depends on how far you take it. I think we have a healthy degree of competitiveness when it comes to the program, not with each other, though. Our competitiveness is the fact that all of us study hard together, so we are working on getting a common grade, and we really want that to be a high grade. So we're more competitive with ourselves, and I think that can be healthy, is to compete with yourself and push yourself and see how far you can push yourself. And that goes back to that whole 75%. Yeah, C's do get degrees, but when you're having a healthy competition with yourself, you just want to see how high you can get, how high of a grade you can get. Not necessarily with each other, I want to reiterate that, but with yourself. And push yourself and go out of your comfort zone, and that's totally okay. But don't forget, social life. I think a lot of times in nursing school, they'll say you don't get a social life until you're done with nursing school. I have a sweatshirt that says, I'm sorry, I can't. I'm in nursing school. My mom bought it for me, and that's been my mantra ever since. I can't. I'm in nursing school. But it is good to have some self-care. And if that means spending time with your friends, spend a little bit of time with them. Like I said, after your study group, go out and have some drinks, or go to a coffee shop and just sit and talk about life. Whatever you need to do to kind of bring your stress level down a little bit, there's always a little bit of time for that. And I think that you should really spend time taking care of you. That's really all I have about nursing school and going back to nursing school. One thing I kind of want to leave with is that are my goals for the future. My goals for the future is to finish my ADN and go get my bachelor's. I would ultimately like to end up in the NICU. However, more recently, I have been kind of leaning towards the emergency room or the med-surg floor. So I have not fully decided yet what I am going to do. I have plenty of time to do that. But I know that I will be going back to school once I'm finished with this program to get my bachelor's. And I will probably end up in one of those areas. I'm used to working emergency medicine, so I'd probably be best suited for the emergency room, but eventually I would like to end up in the NICU. So we'll see how that goes. It's very exciting, and I can't wait for it to get closer to the end when I actually have a lot more of that knowledge and ability to make a full decision based on things I've seen after clinicals and whatnot. So wish me luck as we move forward. I'm happy that if you've stuck around to the end of the video, I would really love if you subscribed and maybe hung around a little bit more. I am trying to do more videos. A lot of them are just talking vlog style. I don't do real days in my life kind of videos. I would love to, but editing them is a little bit more difficult sometimes, but we'll see what I come up with as we go. But I do have lots of plans for more videos, and I would really hope you would stick around. If not, thanks for staying so far this time, and I will see you all later.